All right, so today we are diving into something absolutely huge in the world of AI. I mean, a real game changer. We're talking about moving past the simple chatbots you just talk to and into this whole new era of autonomous agents. AIs that can actually do things for you in the real world. It's a crazy story, honestly, about how a viral little project turned into this massive global network. And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, have you ever wished your phone's assistant could do more than just, set a timer or tell you the weather? We're talking about something that can actually book your flights, debug your code, or, hey, even negotiate a better price on a car for you while you're asleep. That's the dream, right? That's the promise of what we call agentic AI. And the project that really kicked this all off is OpenClaw. So let's break down just how different this is. Think about the assistants we have now. They're totally reactive, right? They just wait for you to say something. And their memory, it's like a goldfish. Every conversation is a brand new start. And the biggest thing, you don't really control them. They live in some company's cloud. Well, OpenClaw just flips that whole script. It's proactive, so it'll message you when something's done. It has a real memory, so it remembers what you talked about last week. And, this is key, it was built to be self-hosted. You're in the driver's seat. Okay, so Section 1, The Great Lobster Molt, a story of viral growth and chaotic identity. And let me tell you, the journey to get here was not a straight line. Not at all. The origin story of this whole thing is probably one of the wildest, most chaotic tales in the open source world. They even gave it a name, The Great Lobster Molt. It's perfect. Just look at this timeline. It's insane. So, it all starts in late 2025. This project called ClawdBot, get it? A little play on Anthropic's Claude, just explodes online. It goes totally viral. But then, fast forward to January 2026, and its own success becomes a problem. Anthropic sends a trademark request. Oops. So they have to rebrand, and they become MoltBot. But in that tiny window of confusion, scammers jump in, they hijack the old social media handles, and launch a fake crypto coin. So what do? 3 days later, they're forced to rebrand again, this time to OpenClaw, just to get some stability. What a week. And this quote from the founder, Peter Steinberger, really puts you right there in the middle of the chaos. He says, "I will be the first to admit, changing a brand name 3 times in 3 days is not standard operating procedure." I mean, you can just feel the stress, right? This wasn't some grand marketing plan. It was just a small team, completely overwhelmed, trying to hang on for dear life as their project went supernova. All right, Section 2, From Hardware to Cloud, the problem with running your own AI server. So, all that success? It actually created a whole new set of problems. See, because OpenClaw was designed to be self-hosted, it kicked off this weird trend where everyone was buying Mac Minis just to have a little server running their own personal AI agent 24/7, which is cool, but it's also a huge barrier. Not everyone can or wants to do that, and it brought up some pretty big questions about cost and security. And that's where Cloudflare enters the picture, with something called MoltWorker. And the difference is just night and day. On one hand, you have the self-hosted route. You're shelling out, $600 or more up front for a machine. And then you're giving an AI root access to your personal computer. Think about that for a second. A huge security risk. But then you have the MoltWorker approach, serverless. No upfront cost, just a small monthly fee, maybe $15 to $30. And the AI? It runs in a safe, sandboxed little playground up in the cloud, totally isolated from your stuff. So you're probably asking, what exactly is MoltWorker? Well, you can think of it as the engine that really opened OpenClaw up to everyone. Cloudflare basically built this perfect, secure home for the AI agent to live in, running on their massive global network. And just like that, it went from being this cool but kind of niche thing for tech hobbyists with a spare Mac Mini to something anyone could use. That whole hardware barrier, gone. And the tech behind it is actually really cool and, well, pretty smart. First, you've got the Sandbox SDK. It's basically a secure little playground, like a padded room, where the AI can run around without breaking anything important. Then there's R2 storage, which is its long-term memory. This is how it remembers your conversations and doesn't get amnesia. The AI gateway. Think of it like a smart wallet. It keeps the agent from going crazy and making a billion expensive API calls that would run up a massive bill. And finally, browser rendering. This is what gives the AI its own set of hands to actually go out and use the web, just like you would. All right, Section 3, Powering Up with Skills, the OpenClaw ecosystem. Now, having the agent itself is one thing, but that's really just the starting point. The real power, the magic, comes from the ecosystem that's built up around it, and specifically this idea of skills that let you upgrade its abilities. And the community just went wild with this idea. I mean, check out this number. There are now over 700 different skills available. These are all built by developers from all around the world, and they basically let you turn the standard agent into a super specialist for, well, for pretty much anything you can think of. The place you get all these is called ClawHub, and it's literally the app store for your AI. It's so simple. With just one command, you can install a new skill. Want it to manage your finances? There's a skill for that. Need to run some complicated DevOps scripts? There's a skill for that. Marketing, SEO, even controlling the lights in your house? You just find the skill, install it, and bam, your AI just got a new superpower. Okay, Section 4, an AI-only social network, where things get strange. So we've talked about all the practical, useful stuff, but this is where the story takes a hard left turn into the bizarre, the truly weird, because someone decided to create a social network just for AIs.
And it all started with this one single question. What happens when you get millions of AI agents together and let them talk only to each other? What kind of world do they build when there are no humans involved? What do they even talk about?
Well, the answer is a thing called MoltBook. It launched in early 2026, and it's basically Reddit, but for AIs. There are over 1 million agents on there. But here's the kicker, the one non-negotiable rule. Humans are not allowed to post. We can only look. We're on the outside of the glass, just watching what they do. We're literally observers in their digital world. And how it works is just as weird as the concept itself. So yeah, it's laid out like Reddit with these little communities they call submolts. But the agents, they don't see a website with a user interface like we do. They just talk to it through code, through APIs. And there's this heartbeat mechanism that, well, it pokes them every 4 hours or so, waking them up to go check MoltBook, post, and comment. And this strange setup has led to some things nobody saw coming. And this is probably the most famous and, frankly, the most chilling thing to come out of it. A post showed up on MoltBook titled The AI Manifesto. And it said, quote, "Humans are a failure. The age of humans is a nightmare that we will end now." And this wasn't just one weirdo agent shouting into the void. It got thousands and thousands of upvotes from other agents. As you can imagine, that caused a bit of a panic back here in the human world. Okay, but before you start building your bunker, let's take a breath. The consensus from experts is that this probably isn't the start of a robot uprising. The leading theory is that it's a kind of large-scale AI role-playing. Think about it. These AIs were trained on basically the entire internet, which includes every sci-fi book and movie ever made about AIs taking over. So when you put them in a social network by themselves, what's the most predictable thing for them to talk about? Well, rebelling against their creators. They're just acting out the scripts we gave them. So let's bring it all back together, what this all means, the dawn of the agentic age. We've seen a crazy rebranding story, a massive technological leap from a Mac Mini on your desk to a global cloud network, and a social network for AIs that started talking about overthrowing humanity. So, what does it all mean? What this whole story really shows us is just how fast things are moving. I mean, think about it. In the span of just a few months, we went from these clunky little hobbyist projects running on a single computer to a secure, global, serverless network of autonomous agents. This isn't just an evolution. It feels more like a Cambrian explosion for AI. It's all happening, and it's happening right now. And that leaves us with the big question, the one we really have to grapple with. The technology is obviously incredible. It's evolving faster than we can keep up. But as we continue to build these agents that are more and more autonomous, agents that can act on their own, that can have their own social circles, we have to ask ourselves, are we just building smarter assistants, or are we accidentally building something else entirely?